Okay, so this is going to be a video on what you need to do for checking to see if someone has a concussion. And we'll kind of break this down into categories, but to start, we want to get the mechanism of injury because we don't want to confuse this with a heat illness, especially if we're trying to diagnose this person in the summer. So we want to ask your athlete how exactly that they got their concussion or how they got injured, basically, and you'll decide if it's a concussion or a heat illness. But we would ask them, did you hit your head? Did you go head to head with somebody else? Did you hit a dummy? Did you hit the metal chutes, something like that? Did you get jerked around really hard or fast? Did you get thrown to the ground? Things like that. Okay, so once we find out what's going on with them, then we need to get a list of their symptoms. So I would ask them things like, do you have a headache, which is a really common symptom for this? I would want to know the location of it. I want to know the severity of it. Do you have dizziness? Then I just kind of go through some of my senses like blurry vision, double vision, sense to the light, hearing, ringing in your ears, sensitivity to sound, things like that. Did you get upset at your stomach? Are you having any balance issues? Or are you having trouble focusing, concentrating? Do you feel sleepy, tired, grumpy, personality changes, that sort of thing? A lot of questions that you can ask to get a list of symptoms, okay? Now, after we get our list of symptoms, we're going to be doing our observation and just trying to make sure that we don't see anything abnormal. One of the things we would look for is their pupils to make sure that they are reacting to light appropriately. We also want to make sure that they're not acting like they're about to pass out on us because of potential pressure on the brain built up from a bleed. Personality changes. If we know our athlete really well, they may act differently, okay, things like that. Now, when we get to our 12 cranial nerves, we need to do tests for all of these, and some of them kind of overlap, but I'm just going to run through those for you really quick, and these will check those 12 cranial nerves, okay? So to start with, we would want to check the sense of smell, and to do that, I would have something that the athlete could smell. I would tell them to close their eyes and cover up one nostril. Okay, and then I'll take whatever it is and I'll hold it up to their nose and have them smell, and they would say, yes, it smells like peppermint or lemon or whatever, okay? Then I need to check the other side. So they'll cover it up, I'll hold something else up to them, and they can tell me what they smell. Okay, after that, we need to start checking the eyes, and there are 4 cranial nerves for this, so there's different ways that we can do that, but one of the ways is I would have them read something far off. So can you read that over there? They'll tell me what it says. I'll hold something up to them so they can read close and they can tell me what that says. I need to see them blink, so blink for me, good. And then after that, I'm gonna check the movements of the eye. So have them have their head straight forward, and I'll check lateral gaze and up and down movements. Okay, just to make sure that their eyes contract. Good. All right, now, after we do that, then we can just basically everything that we're checking is going to be from here to here. So if you get lost, you just kind of look at different body parts and it'll kind of help you remember where you need to be. So another one we got to check is hearing. We could also check that by balance, but I'll do the hearing part of it. So I'm going to snap my fingers and I want you to tell me when, I want you to tell me where it is that I'm snapping my fingers. So just close your eyes and you'll just point.
That's really where I heard.
Okay, well, his hearing is off. Alright, so that's one way that we can check for hearing. Also, we could have him balance, but we'll do that here in a few minutes. Alright, so after we do the hearing, then we need to have him do some facial movements. So raise your eyebrows up, okay, and then squint, and then puff out your cheeks. Go ahead and relax that. And then clench your teeth. You can feel his masseter tightening up for that part. Whistle for me. Good. Okay, now stick out your tongue. Move it left and right. Now say ah. Swallow for me. Good. Okay, so we just ran through several of those special tests right there for the cranial nerves. Another one, close your eyes. And can you feel me touching you here?
Yes.
Does it feel similar on both sides?
Yes.
Okay, same question. You feel that? Does it feel similar?
Yes.
Feel that?
Yes.
Feel similar?
Yes.
Good. Okay. And then lastly, we need to have him shrug his shoulders up, and then don't let me push you down. Good. So that will check all our cranial nerves, okay? So if those check out okay, and he's not having any issues with those, then that's a big relief, because if there were some deficits with those, then that would mean that he potentially had swelling or bleeding on the brain that was putting pressure on those nerves, causing them to not work correctly. Okay, after we do that, then we need to run through short-term memory, long-term memory, cognitive processing, and we'll do some balance tests as well. Okay, so I usually start with short-term memory. So memorize these 3 words for me: ball, Sam, and cat. Okay, go ahead and repeat them.
Ball, Sam, cat.
Okay, and I'll ask you those again here in a few minutes. Alright, now we can do some other short-term memory questions. So do you remember the play that you were running whenever you got hit?
Up the middle.
Okay, good. And do you remember what the score was before you got hit?
Like 48-12.
Okay, good. So that would be some short-term. Now we can kind of progress that out to asking questions like, what did you have for supper before the game? And you just, whatever. We usually have chicken
Subway.
strips, right? Yeah. Okay, or I could ask a little bit further back, like, what did you have for lunch? What did you have for breakfast? What did you do first period today? Okay, things like that. And then we can progressively get to longer term memory questions like, what's your address? What's your phone number? What's your parents' names? Things like that. Okay? So that's our short and long term memory. We need to do cognitive processing, so that's going to be questions that have to do with things that he should already know, but he has to kind of think a little bit harder to figure out what he needs to say. So say the days of the week for me backwards. Start at Saturday.
Saturday, Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday,
Good.
Sunday.
And then we're trying to see how quickly he can answer these. If he can run through all these processing questions really quick, then there's really not a deficit in that. So count backwards for me from 20 by 2s. So start at 20.
20, 18, 16, 14, 12, 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, 1,
And then
0.
And then questions like that, you could have them say the months of the year backwards, things like that. Okay, go ahead and stand up for me. To check balance, you have them put their feet together, close your eyes, and then you always want to kind of support just in case he's really wobbly and he starts to go back, we can catch him. Okay. Now you can progress this, take your head back, balance. Okay, you can have him take his arms out to the side, point with one finger, and then you're going to touch your nose. Okay, and you can have them alternate those. Things like that will check for balance and coordination. And then I need to ask him if he can remember those 3 words lastly. So what are the 3 words?
Ball, Sam, cat.
Good. Okay, and then I typically will ask, did any of the things that I had to do make your symptoms worse? And then I'll usually go back through symptoms and kind of get a final check as to where things are at. And that's it.